Okay, so welcome back once again, guys. Now, in my previous lecture, I was talking about autoencoder, and we have seen that how we can try to build this autoencoder, which will be able to, take a input of a noisy data, and then it will be able to denoise it. So, denoising autoencoder is something that we have built. Now, there is a concept called as a sparse autoencoder. Now, what is the meaning of this sparse, by the way? Meaning of a sparse is very simple, right? And in terms of autoencoder, if I have to explain you that what is the meaning of this sparse, it simply means that it is going to activate only a few neurons, and other neurons will be deactivated. Means other neurons will be having a zero value. This is the meaning of a like a or near to zero value, you can say. So most of the neurons in a hidden layer. So when we are talking about the autoencoder, so most of the neuron inside a hidden layer will be deactivated. This is the meaning of the sparse. Now, why we are going to do the sparse, or what is the benefit that I will be able to get out of the sparse? We'll try to explain you. But before that, let's try to understand that how we can try to implement this sparsity inside a autoencoder. It's a very simple half of line of the code, or you can say one single feature you have to call, and then automatically it will be able to make your hidden layer as a sparse. Means it is not going to allow all the neurons to give an output. So it is going to nullify, or it is going to inactivate or deactivate basically a neuron, which is going to give a value near to zero or maybe a zero. So let me share my screen, and same notebook I am using, which I was using in my previous class, and here same data I am going to use, not a different one. I'll try to explain you the sparsity. So this is the only piece of the code which is helping me out in terms of making this hidden layer, one of the hidden layer, as a sparse one. So I'm trying to take a input of 784, and then eventually I'm trying to create a latent space, means a space with a smaller feature I'm trying to create. So here you can see 64, right? 64. So 784 to 64 transformation I'm trying to do, and this is my encoder layer, right? Encoder hidden layer and latent space, you can say. And here, so I'm trying to implement a L1 regularization. Now, what it will try to do? So basically, it is going to apply, or it is going to activate only some of the neuron out of it. So L1, that regularization which I'm trying to use over here, so it is going to encourage output becomes zero, and this is where we can try to say that okay, so this is basically a sparse encoder I am trying to create. Yeah. And this number which I have given, so this is nothing but a strength of the sparsity constraint. You can try to change this particular number if you want, and then you can try to test it, as simple as that. Apart from that, nothing much has changed. So we have one layer of encoder, and then we have a decoder layer. That's it. This is the only model layer that we have. Nothing much, right? Nothing much. I can try to add as many layer as I want, depends upon me. Now, so why we should use and where we should use a sparsity, right? So where I'm supposed to call this kind of a regularization, so which is going to deactivate some of my neuron, right? So where I'm supposed to use this sparsity. So here, right? So here, this entire sparsity is going to help you out in terms of preventing a overfitting. Instead of activating all the neurons, means all the expert, it is going to activate only some of the expert, right? Neurons basically, right? I'm just trying to call neuron as a expert over here with this particular sparsity feature, which is going to help you out in terms of prevent a overfitting. Now, in terms of extracting a spatial feature, so yes, this is very much useful, and it is going to even promote, or you can say it is going to give you a underlying structure of the data, the actual structure, the actual feature of the data. It is going to help you out in terms of observe, and then on top of that you can try to build anything. This is where sparsity comes into a picture, but technically I'm trying to do this sparsity in my latent space itself, means the space where I'm trying to extract the feature. So hope this latent space things and this sparsity is pretty much clear to all of us. Now what I can do is I can try to call a fit, and here I'm trying to pass my training data, both the places, right? So it will try to do the comparison between training to training data. Last time I was trying to provide a noisy data so that it will be able to learn, but that's completely fine. I'm not going to do that. Here I'm just trying to provide the clean data. So input and output are both like clean images which I am trying to provide over here so that it will be able to learn. So training to training data itself, it is going to learn. Now, once it will be able to learn, I can try to call my sparse autoencoder and I can try to call a prediction by passing my X-test data. And here is a result. So my original image was this, which was my X-train eventually. And then even after doing a sparse, so basically I'm able to build a neural network which will be able to activate only couple of neurons, but those couple of neurons will be responsible for extracting a majority of the feature, all the main features. So yeah, I'm able to see that even with a very less training and very less depth of the network, I'm able to build a better one, so which is able to generate a good amount of a outcome for me. As simple as that. But a meaning of sparse is simple: deactivate it, make it zero. Yeah, make it zero. So wherever you are trying to call sparse as a keyword, right, and you will be able to see this sparse keyword in a multiple places. So wherever someone is talking about sparse, it simply means that I'm talking about something which is near to zero or equal to zero. Simple. So with that, guys, thank you so much. Hope all of you are able to understand what is the meaning of the sparse autoencoder, how we can try to basically create it. It's just one single line of addition that we are trying to do over here. So we are trying to call a regularization, so which is going to help me out in terms of deactivating some of the neuron. That's it. Yep. So with that, thank you so much, everyone. Take care and see you again in my next lecture.